economic development team at Urban Impact, sometimes relabeled the Peanut Gallery because of our excessive and creative imaginations and our ability to make one another smile. I hope everyone is doing well in Cyberland. And Friday, for us, it is a little in our city. Our son is a little shy. Mount Rainier is hiding again. I don't understand why. We live by a place where if you drive down, you can see Mount Rainier clearly. And so whenever we have guests to the state, or even they don't believe that there's a mountain there because most of the days that we drive by there, it's not visible. And I say, the mountain's just being a little shy today. Any Washington residents know what that means. But we're not gonna let it knock us down, because we're beautiful no matter what they say.
Words can't bring us down.
No. Okay, cool. Introduce yourselves, people. Again, say your first name for everyone so that they know who you are.
Absolutely. I am Jaleel. I'm the business education coordinator. I love being here. I love getting to talk about business principles and improv with my team. This is great. So, having fun.
Andre, the director of economic development, which means we are hopefully developing the individuals and our city to make it a better, thriving business place.
Hello, I'm Mara Palmer. I'm the Economic Development Program Manager. I'm here to make sure that everyone knows of the resources available to them to help scale and grow your concepts into great legacy businesses.
The next mayor. Excuse me.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
And we have one more in our team.
Hey, should we scoot this way?
Yes. We'll make room.
Hi everyone.
There she is.
Some of you may know me already, but I'm Michelle Urrea and I am just, I'm the glue to the team basically.
100%.
What people need, I gotta fill in and make it happen. So getting these set up and all the emails, reminders for these YouTube lives happening on Friday come from me. So yeah.
So I want to start off the conversation today because I know we come together and we put our heads together and have great discussions. What would you say has been one of the best business principles that you've learned in the last, let's say, 60 days? 60 days, something that has stood out to you that you've thought about. Maybe it could have been a mentor or a coach personally has told you. What's really just been marinating in your head?
Blocking out my time. Yeah, I do a lot of different tasks and wear a lot of different hats, and scheduling my time so I can take care of certain projects on certain days and not try and do everything on the same day has been a change maker for the summer for sure. I get to do me time, work balance time, admin time, catch up on projects that should be done indoors only, so everything gets done.
Nice.
Master multitasker.
Ooh.
I can go next. We had a wonderful opportunity this Wednesday to interview one of our past Thrive participants. And I feel like one of the things that was highlighted in that interview that really, I was reminded of is how important customer service is when it comes to business. And, that this was one of the things that this entrepreneur and business owner highlighted, that anywhere, either when he receives business from, or, customer service from businesses he goes to, is something that is important for him, and the customer service that he provides to his customers. And so he broke down, we'll release that interview at some point once it's all edited.
Oh, it's gonna be fire.
But, just the way he broke down the 3 different components of customer service and how big that is for a business is, it was a reminder, I know that customer service is really important to me, but just how it furthers it really just will make your business grow, how good your customer service is.
Absolutely.
That's it. People taking care of people. A business principle that has impacted me in the last 60 days. I would say, honestly, there's been a lot. We've been talking about a lot, but the one thing that's really been helping me out is to not focus on my goals, but to focus on daily and weekly objectives. So I'm putting more emphasis on what am I doing every day? What can I do consistently every day? So instead of thinking about, oh, I want to make X amount a year or X amount a month or X amount a week, I'm more focused in my business on how many calls are we doing a day? How many calls are we doing a week? Focusing just on the tasks. If you can create consistency in the execution, then the results will come. And so that's been huge, been very liberating, but it's also like changed my whole focus on now on I'm daily thinking about, okay, how many calls did we get out? Are we booking appointments? Are we not booking appointments? And so now, because I'm focused on the tasks, I can see on a day-to-day basis, all right, if something's not working, now we can shift it sooner, rather than like if I'm waiting at the end of the month, I could have fixed a problem 2 weeks ago, but I wouldn't have known if I wasn't focused on the daily activities. So that's kind of been something huge for me.
For me, it has been, thank you for sharing, everybody, first off. For me, it's been, two of my mentors told me they said it two different ways. One mentor told me years ago, he said, whatever I give my attention to, its spirit comes to live inside of me. And I was like, what? He was like, whatever you give your attention to, its spirit comes to live inside of you. So whatever you're focusing your attention on, that is going to now, impact you in whatever way, both positive or negative, right? Depending on what it is. And then another mentor, he phrased it this way. He said that whatever you, where your focus goes, that's where your energy flows. And I said, oh my goodness. So this week, I'm one of these people that I really do like the sun. I don't want to be in humidity and heat and get burnt to a crisp, but I do like the sun. I don't know if you've noticed my melanin or my lack thereof, but I do like the sun, right? And with that being said, when it is concealed, it does affect me. It does affect if I'm not deliberate and intentional to set my mind upon things above, goals, objectives, like, chronicling daily wins, start my mind off right and reading some scripture. For me, it could be gospel music or really just shifting the atmosphere before I do things. It changes everything. I noticed it with our children. My wife and I have 3 children, and I just noticed that when I'm at home, if I've done those things for myself personally, I'm in a better space. I'm not as irritable with the same things that they could do. The variable in the equation that hasn't changed is me. So how I react or respond, if I choose to react or if I choose to respond, to me is determined by what I've given my attention to. And if I've given my attention to the news of the day, if I've given my attention to the things I'm anxious about, which is things that I think have yet come to pass, then I'm going to be a damper on others and cause for them, to label me grumpy or tell on me. I get told on. They go tell my mom. They go tell my mom, and then my mom's on my head. I'm gonna say, wait a minute, I'm an adult. How's the grandkids going and trying to level up in the authority chain? I said, but real time, I want to encourage you, all those things that people shared here today, from batching your time, making sure that you really strategically, deliberately, and intentionally structure how your day and how your week is going and your hours going. Because if you can't manage an hour, how can you manage 24 hours? If you can't manage a day, how can you manage a week? If you can't manage a week, how can you manage a month, and so on and so forth, right? Mm-hmm. And what Michelle was talking about with customer service, it's powerful. We are striving and desiring that you have touch points with us and our team, and that every time you have a touch point with us, it causes for you to smile, it causes for you to feel equipped, that you feel upskilled, that you feel encouraged and exhorted, that you feel, oh my man, I have such clarity from being around them, or I was feeling despair, but then I came around them and they helped me to recognize how to reframe the way I was thinking about it. These are things that we want to do when we have our touch points with you, even through this digital medium. We want to be able to come right into your car or your living room or your phone or your job. You might be sitting with earphones in a cubicle trying to give people the signal to not talk to you, but they still talk to you anyway. Go figure that out. Shout out to those people that don't get the hint. But we want to make sure that you feel well about that. And then what Jalil was sharing about, reiterate what you shared again.
Focusing on your daily tasks and not your long-term goals.
With my children, and we're going to talk a little bit about what it means to buy back time, because I think that the concept of time is prolific, and I think we overestimate what we can do in a month or in a year, and then we underestimate what we can do in a month. And same with smaller time frames. We look at these bigger horizons and we talk about all these things we're gonna do, and then we get defeated if we don't hit them, right? I remember when we came to the end of a decade, from 2000 to 2010, and at the time I was on Facebook, and it was 2009, the end of 2009, so it's the New Year's Eve, and everybody during the daytime is just posting all this depressed stuff of saying, man, I had so many goals, I can't believe 10 years went by and I'm just not even close to what I thought, right? And my business failed, I had some failed relationships, they're just going down, my kids is going through, I'm just like, whoa, it's making me, I said, you know what? And I felt like the Father told me, and he said, I want you to change, I want you to recap the wins that happened for the last 10 years. And so I went into it. We have a room in our home. I went into the room in our home that's for prayer and meditation. And so I went up in there and I started to outline, and I pulled out different things that had been written that were notes from different years. And I started to just mentally empty out my head and started to think about wins and things that happened in the year that were highlights. And I'm telling you, by the end of that time, I was so pumped. I was so excited. I was so ready for this upcoming year. I had so much gas and so much steam of that, man, there were so many great things that happened that it just shifted my mindset. So I want to encourage you that when you think about time, don't allow time to make you anxious. Don't allow the thought of that you have an unrealized fear, something that hasn't even come to pass. I've told them about I told my team about how I had reluctance to travel certain distances because, of just unrealized fears, not even something that's based in reality that's ever happened, but just mindset of, well, if I go so far, then this could happen and that could. It's all these what ifs that are negative. But what about the what ifs that it actually goes well and it's great and it changes your life and it opens up opportunities? What do you guys think about when you think about time horizons? Do you feel that you overestimate what you can do and in a larger amount of time, and then kind of underestimate what you can do in a shorter amount of time?
Absolutely. Actually, so another shout out to Dan Sullivan.
Hey,
Gap in the Gain. All right, that book was huge for me personally because, and like many of you, you're entrepreneurs, which means that you're independent, you're a leader, and you're very ambitious, and you have a lot of self-confidence because you believe that you can take your time and your life into your own hands. If you're an entrepreneur, you do those things. If you're not, then you likely are in a 9-to-5 and want to stay there. But we're not talking to you because you're business people, right? So, anyways, Dan Sullivan, The Gap in the Gain, that book helped me out a ton because I was in a mental place where I was accomplishing a lot of great things in business. I'm hitting sales goals. I got a promotion. Now I'm leading a team. Now I got people under me, bought a car, bought another car, bought a house, bought an RV. Nothing was ever good enough though, because I was always thinking, this is when I was in my loan officer days. I'm closing 5 a month. Oh, great. Now I need to hit 10. I did 10. Bet. Now the next one's 20 though. That's when I'm really going to make it. And so my benchmark for success and happiness kept moving farther and farther away from me. And I never learned how to celebrate anything that I had accomplished. It was just performance based. And so obviously that stressed me out. That's how I looked at myself and my own achievements. So, God bless my wife Lord knows. I mean, so of course, like nothing for anybody was ever good enough, right? Like, oh, you're doing this, but you could be doing that. Oh, you're doing this, but you could be doing that. So it's like anyone that was in close proximity to that, like it was very toxic. So bless the Lord, I've grown, right? But you might be experiencing the same thing. Maybe you are doing some things that are wins in your world, and I'll tell you this: I was really good at minimizing those things. So when it comes to time, what Dan had helped me realize in the book The Gap and the Gain is to instead of valuing my success or determining my success by hitting futuristic goals, he tells me in the book to determine my success by where I come from. So it's like, oh wow, look where I used to be. Years ago, I wasn't closing loans. Now I'm closing deals now. Oh wow, look, back in the past I wasn't a reader. Now I'm an avid reader. I'm hitting a book at least, once a week or a couple times a day. I started shifting how I started seeing my success, and it was really based off of look at where God has brought me from, not where I want to go. And gratitude just like expanded, because then I could be grateful for the wins, for the growth, for everything in my life that is right now. I'm grateful because I am a better man today than I was yesterday. And when you benchmark your success off of that, you can be grateful, you can continue to grow, and you'll you'll start to experience the gain instead of feeling like there's a gap between you and success, whatever that is. So
Nice.
yeah, Dan Sullivan, Gap in the Gain, time, just summarizing all that.
Ladies, what do you feel like you overestimate what you can do in a larger amount of time, and then underestimate what you can do in a shorter amount of time?
Me personally, no. I'm a self-made businesswoman, and it was because of necessity. I didn't have any other choice. And so after creating a career for myself, I find that I have to make new goals often because I continue to meet my goals. And that is a great problem to have, let me tell you. Remembering your reason why, and the motivation never goes away.
Mm-hmm.
I always did something that I thought was interesting, and tried to soak up as much as I could from people more intelligent or equipped than me. So it's been a great ride. I want to know a little bit about everything. So yeah, I continuously work on projects that take longer than others. You always have a few different projects going. And then, to close them and be able to contribute and lead by example is everything to me. So, you just have to effectively manage your skill sets and go after the areas where you're weak if you can't delegate it to somebody else,
Yeah.
Use your time to invest in yourself. It always pays off. And the youth. Don't forget about each one, teach one, because it always comes back tenfold.
Come on. So, real quick, you said you're always hitting your goals. So how do you go about setting your goals? Like what's your goal setting process?
Well, at this point, I've been in the beauty industry 20 plus years. So at this point, my goal is to establish streams of residual income that don't require me standing on my feet. Since I provided services most of my career, I'm transitioning into product systems and putting those systems in place so I can stay semi-retired.
Let's go.
Yes,
go.
putting other people on. So my big goal has always been to push my mission forward, which is to create platforms of commerce for other people, for myself, my peers' children, right? And then the cycle continues to go forward, right? The more people that are contributing, the better.
That's dope. I think what's really cool about that is that your goals don't just all involve you either,
right?
And I think that's really cool.
Remembering your reason why.
Yeah. I was gonna say this maybe yesterday? Yeah, yesterday morning I watched this live of Eric Thomas, shout out to him.
Hey, shout out to you.
And that was his message. He said, you know, we're always so caught up in ourselves, like, and then you're just miserable because you're just thinking about yourself. People forget to think about, you know, like, what are you doing and why, and connect it to, you know, have a purpose, right? Like he was saying that him and his wife would go out to San Diego, and he said we would drive an hour and a half to go to a Nike clearance store because my wife, that's what she wanted to do, was go and just buy a whole bunch of stuff to give out to kids. But once we were just in San Diego chilling, like, it was about us. It was about us just hanging out. And she was bored. Like, what are you bored for? We're hanging out. But she, you know, because she's always looking to give to somebody. And, you know, and when you're, you know, like Mara was saying, when you're thinking about who you're doing it for and having a purpose for what you're doing, you're going to go so much further than just looking at, I'm doing this for myself, or, you know, you're being so self-centered. When you do things for others, you're going to grow and go so much further. And I think about one of our participants watching, Sir Wah, who actually...
Big check, big respect.
Big check, big respect, man.
Who was our Sharks of the Beach pitch competition winner. Okay, came in first place. And just shout out to Sir Wah, because, you know, her business is about helping other people.
Absolutely.
And, you know, helping the air quality of specifically trying to work with schools, right? And actually her whole pitch was dedicated to a young girl who actually passed away from an asthma attack that she had endured. So, you know, I think that's something that was reiterated in my life. It's like, what are you waking up to do every day? Are you just working to satisfy yourself, or are you working to help others? And I think that in anything, whether you're planning for a month ahead or 4 years ahead, if you have that in perspective of who are you doing it for, that'll help you go so much further.
There is there's a thought that I think grew up with Medium.
This is
yes, the Seattle Medium.
message
Local
from
park.
the people
Local.
to the people. Before you get into that, this quote, Michelle just literally
there
got
we
me on this
go.
quote. All
He
right,
was
so
grabbing a quote.
shout out to
We
Savannah
have books
Parker.
and stuff open because we don't plan this out. We want this
Right.
to be literally off the top. So we do have content that's coming that is more structured. But if you're coming here expecting principle 1, principle 2, this isn't none of these lives will be that. So we're gonna save your Friday if that's what you thought you were getting. But we will have structured in our actual programs and training, and then as well we're gonna have some digital content that is where it's more of a training time.
100%. So shout out to. Actually, they didn't pay for a subscription.
No.
Hey,
Gotta pay to play.
we're giving people.
It's a local paper.
The Seattle
Keep it going.
Medium, local paper from the people to the people. Shout out to Savannah Parker, Miss Seafair. If you can see her right here,
Absolutely.
come on. Let's just appreciate that. God bless her. Anyways, you know, so she had this quote which Michelle just reminded me of, and it's a beautiful quote. She said, "I am nowhere near done accomplishing all that God has planned, but I'm learning that there is no dream too big when it's rooted in purpose."
That's good.
Like
Nice.
Savannah, yo.
Her
So I mean, just whoever her parents are, God bless them. Dynamic woman, Miss Seafair 2023. She really just opened up a lot of doors for, especially a lot of brown people, which is awesome. But to Mara's point, to Michelle's point, and you were talking about customer service. You know, when we are living a life in servitude to other people, we're created for community. So time moves quicker. Your heart is more full. You can work into the midnight hours because you're excited that you're going to be making an impact in someone else's life. Like, there is only so much you can do with yourself.
How many cars can you drive at one time? How many shoes can you order at one time? How many outfits how many houses can you show off at one time? Right? The reality of it is there's a verse that says that the disciples came to the master and they asked him, they were arguing about, actually they were arguing about being who is the greatest. And it's interesting that instead of rebuking them for wanting to be great, he made the statement to them. He said, if any of you wants to be the greatest, he said, the greatest of you will be the greatest servant of all. The person who wants to be the greatest will be the one who serves the most.
Mm-hmm.
And so you think about that, the one who is outward focused. And I think about the times that I've experienced anxiety or depression, it's because I'm focused on me. Oh, what didn't happen on my behalf? Oh my gosh, oh my.
Right.
Instead of being upward focused and outward focused, instead of allowing there to be a flow through, I get stuck here looking at me, navel gazing, and then I'm depressed. And I'm, you know what I'm saying? It's like a dog chasing their own tail. It's just futile. What can I do by looking internally and being frustrated about all the things that didn't happen? So I'm looking at the past from a negative. These are all still constructs, meaning the past is, what does that even mean? All we have is now. Every single day we wake up is now. There's a scripture that says today is the day for salvation. So when we title it Buy Back Your Time, this is a book, by the way. It's a good book by Dan Martell. It gives good structure, and I could give all the unpacking of it, but I feel this conversation is very fruitful that we're having right now. But the importance of getting time back is because we only have so much time. And with the time that we have, if we're not using it to bring life into others, if we're not using it to help others, and we're just concerned with ourselves, I think it was the great Zig Ziglar. He says, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's powerful. It's powerful to think about that. Is that and with a real motive that if you literally, the Apostle Paul says it this way. He said, I was poured out like a drink offering. Like I poured out, he says, and I withheld nothing that was profitable from you. But I went from place to place, house to house. This man was in prison, stoned, left for dead, all these things, maligned, treated like trash, to be able to deliver on behalf of the Creator that he so believed in, and on behalf of the will of him. So in your sphere of influence with your business, would you say that you're serving yourself? Then it's not a business. If it's just about you, it's not a business. If it's just about a bottom line of how I can increase my bank account, then it's not a business. Yes, there definitely has to be a market. There has to be there has to be some commerce that's done and something that people are willing to pay for. But that will happen when we naturally solve a problem that matters to others. We will look for ways to uplift them. When we look for ways to make their life easier. We were looking at a business model earlier today about one of these businesses where they allow people to come in community and be creative. And I said, wow, what a powerful, it's like these type of deals where you come together and people are creative, and it pulls families and it brings creativity, it pulls families and friends together. They understand the value of community. So our encouragement to you is that as you're prioritizing your day, right? If you feel that you're cluttered in your day and you feel that at the end of the day, you didn't really accomplish anything, it's because you didn't do the main thing. When your conscience is still burdened because you're laying down, not because you were doing something stupid. If you're doing something stupid, stop doing that too, all right? Stop being stupid. Literally, I'm just gonna make it, I wanna make sure it's it's not, we on a PhD level. Let's just give it straight to the people. If you're doing something stupid, don't do it, stop doing the stupid stuff. But if you are literally that there were things that you knew that were high priority that you never did and you did everything else, then you didn't do the main thing. So make sure to clear your conscience by doing the main thing that you know. It's like, this is the key performance indicator. This is the high priority activity. This, if I don't do this, the rent doesn't get paid, the lights go out, the mortgage doesn't get paid, the bills don't get paid. Then why are we not doing more of that activity that does that? Don't waste time with the other frivolous things, putting out other people's fires, because those fires will always be there. But this ability to maximize time, to figure out how to buy back your time, and this deals with strategizing, prioritizing, figuring out what are the tasks that you're supposed to focus on, and then building a team and hiring out for the other task. It's just I love the way he breaks it down. He broke down, I'll give one highlight out of this book, but one of the things he talked about was an artist named, it's a contemporary artist. I annotated all in the book. How are we on time, by the way?
It's 12:30.
Hey, well, you're getting a couple extra minutes before it shuts off. Oh, Andre, find your annotation. Find your annotation. In the meantime, Jalil's gonna tap dance while we.
Hey, real talk though, when it comes to buying back your time,
Here we go.
this organic conversation, we really hit like a lot of really key elements. Mara with time blocking, prioritization, and then Michelle with customer service. Who you're serving, and it goes back to Andre with focus, right? 100%.
You read that quote.
Let's go.
Oh, okay. If your business depends on you, you don't own a business. You have a job. And it's the worst job in the world because you're working for a lunatic. Michael E. Gerber?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I
author
love
of
that quote.
The author of the ebook Revisited.
E-Myth.
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 The
Yeah.
ebook.
It's another book. We
They-
talked about books last week, and if you didn't watch that live, go look at our lives and watch that video. Or even if you can't watch the video, just go in the description and you'll see a list of books that are really important for you to read.
Really, really important. The artist Andy Warhol. Anybody heard of that artist?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Good for you.
But anyway, he talks about how he was able to do so many pieces. He ended up with thousands of pieces of artwork, and it was because he built a system. So it didn't just have to be, his lasting legacy is not that he has a few pieces of artwork that he hand produced. It's that he built the machine that produced 85,000 pieces of quality artwork scattered across the globe.
Wow.
Andy Warhol didn't just turn art into a business. His art was business. And I'm like, oh my gosh. He used studio assistants. He borrowed from other artwork. He used many pictures that were already in public domain and therefore ineligible for copyright. He reproduced his silk screens and then resold those. He also used others to write for him. He would tape record himself and then he paid some young men to produce his book. He found a way to replace himself with others so that all his factory's artwork truly was an Andy Warhol piece, but that doesn't mean that he was the sole person working on it. And so you think about that. There's a system that's waiting for you to put it in place to help bring simplification into your life, to help bring clarity into your life, and to make it very profitable. But if we waste time doing the low priority things that consistently drain us, that consistently put us in an unhealthy space where others around us they're not pleasant because we're not pleasant. We're burnt out, we're tired, we're exhausted. Oh my gosh, there is a better way. There's a verse in scripture that says that there was I call them one of the power couples of scripture. It was Aquila and Priscilla, and they're in the book of Acts, and it says Apollos was a person that was a very good teacher, but it says they pulled him to the side and showed him a more excellent way. And so our hope for you today is that you would get a more excellent way of how to take your time and redeem the time, right? Rescue it from harm, purchase it back, make it more useful and producing a higher yield for you and a greater output. Any other last words, people, as we're wrapping up? I think we gave gems. Where's the PayPal, or is there PayPal anymore? What is the little thing that people always ask
Cash
for?
App.
Cash App, all that. We need to drop all that in there. Y'all donate to Urban Impact because we want to make it. People paid for much less, have paid for much less. So,
Well, thank you for sharing your time with us.
Yeah, and if you're here watching, just drop something in the chat, maybe something that stood out to you or something you want to add for everybody who's going to view this in the future.
questions, comments, YouTube, do all the YouTube stuff. Subscribe, like us, share us, heart us, ask questions. That's how the algorithm picks us up. It picks up steam by you commenting. So do all that stuff. Do all the YouTube stuff that you do for random people that don't even show you love. See, we got some hearts popping right now. Let's go. People following instructions. Mara, any last words to the people?
Just continually work on being your best self. It'll pay off. And professionally, personally, all the above. Make good choices and live your best life.
and share these lives with people that you know that need this type of encouragement, that need this type of knowledge. This is for everybody to view and come and join and ask them questions. So this is what these Fridays are for, really talking about, you know, our purpose and why we do it. We do it to help all of y'all excel and grow and strengthen communities, as we like to say here at Urban Impact.
All right.
Urban Impact. Check out our website, www. Who still says that? Or should I start with HTTP, right? Semicolon, //.
Oh, we have something in the comment.
www.urbanimpactseattle.org. Check out the archives, comment, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. We love you. The race is not given to the swift or the strong, but the one that endures to the end. Stop. Don't quit. Go forward. I just said an oxymoron. I said stop. But go, go, go. Shalom. We're out.